Today is Wednesday, June 24th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Out of the Big Book, we're on Chapter 11, A Vision for You. We will be reading page 158. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 11. We will read page 181. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. Got a cup of coffee in a new cup from a restaurant I went to called Aretha Frankenstein's. And oh my goodness, if you love monster movie themed restaurants and retro stuff, they had posters of old cereal boxes, monster movie tabletops. The bathrooms were all monster movie themed. It was amazing. And most importantly, the food was incredible. I got the fat stack of pancakes. Oh, I can't recommend it enough. Aretha Frankenstein's. There's one in Chattanooga and there's one in Knoxville. But, good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, let's go ahead and get to it. All right, my friends. So if you recall from yesterday's reading out of the Big Book, we have gotten to the point where potential AA member number 3 is in the mix. Dr. Bob and Bill, they visited him. This guy is Bill Dotson, and we'll see what happens to him next. We're on 158. On the third day, the lawyer gave his life to the care and direction of his Creator, and said he was perfectly willing to do anything necessary. His wife came, scarcely daring to be hopeful, though she thought she saw something different about her husband already. He had begun to have a spiritual experience. That afternoon, he put on his clothes and walked from the hospital, a free man. He entered a political campaign, making speeches, frequenting men's gathering places of all sorts, often staying up all night. He lost the race only by a narrow margin, but he had found God, and in finding God, had found himself. That was June 1935. He never drank again. He too has become a respected and useful member of his community. He has helped other men recover, and is a power in the church from which he was long absent. So you see, there were 3 alcoholics in that town who now felt that he had to give to others what they had found or be sunk. After several failures to find others, a 4th turned up. He came through an acquaintance who had heard the good news. He proved to be a devil-may-care young fellow whose parents could not make out whether he wanted to stop drinking or not. They were deeply religious people, much shocked by their son's refusal to have anything to do with the church. He suffered horribly from sprees, but it seemed as if nothing could be done for him. He consented, however, to go to the hospital, where he occupied the very room recently vacated by the lawyer. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on Tradition 11. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. And speaking of attraction rather than promotion, they just mentioned that yesterday, and we're going to get an explanation of that today. So, page 181. Let's see how these two contrasting ideas, attraction and promotion, work out. A political party wishes to win an election, so it advertises the virtues of its leadership to draw votes. A worthy charity wants to raise money. Forthwith, its letterhead shows the name of every distinguished person whose support can be obtained. Much of the political, economic, and religious life of the world is dependent upon publicized leadership. People who symbolize causes and ideas fill a deep human need. We of AA do not question that. But we do have to soberly face the fact that being in the public's eye is dangerous, especially for us. By temperament, nearly every one of us has been an irrepressible promoter, and the prospect of a society composed almost entirely of promoters was frightening. Considering this explosive factor, we knew we had exercised self-restraint. The way this restraint paid off was startling. It resulted in more favorable publicity of Alcoholics Anonymous than could possibly have been obtained through all the arts and abilities of AA's best press agents. Obviously, AA had to be publicized somehow. So we resorted to the idea that it would be far better to let our friends do this for us. Precisely that has happened, to an unbelievable extent. Veteran newsmen, trained doubters that they are, have gone all out to carry AA's message. To them, we are something more than a source of good stories. On almost every news front, the men and women of the press have attached themselves to us as friends. "24 hours a day, June 24th. AA thought for the day. Alcohol is our weakness. We suffer from mental conflicts from which we look for an escape by drowning our problems in drink. We try through drink to push away the realities of life. But alcohol does not feed. Alcohol does not build. It only borrows from the future, and it ultimately destroys. We try to drown our feelings in order to escape life's realities, little realizing or caring that in continued drinking, we were only multiplying our problems. Have I got over my unstable emotions? Meditation for the day. When I let personal piques and resentments interfere with what I know to be my proper conduct, I'm on the wrong track, and I am undoing all that I build up by doing the right thing. I must never let personal piques interfere with living the way that I know God wants me to live. When I have no clear guidance from God, I must go forward quietly along the path of duty. The attitude of quiet faith will receive its reward as surely as acting upon God's direct guidance. I must not weaken my spiritual power by letting personal piques upset me. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not let myself become too upset. I pray that I may go quietly along the path that I have chosen. Daily Reflection, June 24th. A spiritual kindergarten. We are only operating a spiritual kindergarten in which people are enabled to get over drinking and find the grace to go on living to better effect. As Bill sees it, page 95. When I came to AA, I was run down by the bottle and wanted to lose the obsession to drink. But I didn't really know how to do that. I decided to stick around long enough to find out from the ones who went before me. All of a sudden, I was thinking about God. I was told to get a higher power, and I had no idea what one looked like. I found out that there are many higher powers. I was told to find God as I understand him, that there was no doctrine of the Godhead in AA. I found what worked for me, then asked that power to restore me to sanity. The obsession to drink was removed, and, one day at a time, my life went on, and I learned how to live sober. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. Great stuff today. I love, out of the 12 and 12, it's pretty powerful, just letting the program speak for itself instead of promoting it like crazy, right? I love on the line, page 181 toward the bottom. Obviously, AA had to be publicized somehow. So we resorted to the idea that it would be far better to let our friends do this for us. Precisely that has happened to an unbelievable extent. That attraction rather than promotion part. I don't know about y'all, but have you ever shut down when somebody starts preaching at you? I had, at times, when I wasn't ready. Now, toward the end, I was going to listen to what anybody said. I would have mowed my sponsor's lawn if that's what he told me I needed to do to be sober. I would, paint the fence, wax the cars, Mr. Miyagi style, whatever it takes. But no, seriously, I think for me, personally, when I see somebody that is happy, joyous, and free, I want what they have. And when I first came into the rooms, that's what attracted me more than anything. I didn't quite understand the steps yet. I didn't really know what the big book was yet. But what attracted me was how genuine and happy the group was. So that kept me coming back. And eventually, the tunnel vision would expand and I'd start to understand things a lot more. What attracted me was the attitude of the group. I'd never experienced anything like that before. And then I would pick certain members that had certain qualities that I wanted. And I would just hang out with them and really hone in on what they had to say. And then when I began to put in the work with my sponsor, and go through the big book and go through the steps, I finally understood where all that joy came from and that happiness. But it was the attraction rather than promotion for me. And it's like anything else, I could say all these things, I could tell my kids I love them and all this stuff. But if I don't spend any time with them, if my actions don't back up what I'm saying, they're not going to believe it. It's a wild thing. And yesterday, real quick, I heard this from a meeting. Yesterday, it was all about fear. And one of the common things I heard from all the shares was that people would immediately pray. When they didn't know what else to do, they would immediately pray, right? And I heard somebody else say about fear, another acronym I've never heard before. The one I've always heard is, there's actually two. A negative one, F everything and run. A positive one, false evidence appearing real. That 90% of my fears never really happened. They're not true. And for the other 10% of my fear that actually does come true, I've got a program of recovery and a fellowship that can help me deal with it. Life on life's terms, right? But I heard another one. Fear. Face everything and rise. That is so true. When I face it head on instead of sweeping it under the rug or running, usually things work out better because I can apply the steps. I could talk to a trusted friend, and I can shine some light on that darkness very, very quickly. It's beautiful stuff. And, I heard this story of this computer technician who had some kind of brain disorder. He was very successful, had a 3-story home, all the material possessions, at his disposal and everything. Very successful at his job. But when he got this brain disorder or brain disease, I can't remember what was mentioned, due to his medical bills and his inability to do his job as well, he lost everything. He was let go and he lost everything. And here he was in the rooms, an older guy, and he said that it got to the point where he had to sell everything off, and he was living in a cold water flat in downtown with one window. It was in the basement of this apartment, and he had one window that he could see out of if he stood up on his tiptoes. Oh, and he had his cat. But he started praying more and attending fellowships more and doing the work. Well, finally, the old company called him back and said, hey, we made a mistake. We need you, we really need you to come home back. The old man said, well, let me think about it. Let me pray about it for a couple of days. And sure enough, he prayed about it over the weekend. Called him back on Monday. And he said, thanks, but no thanks. Because he found peace in a simpler life. He found peace with his Creator. I think that's amazing. The less and less we care about material things when we focus on the spiritual things. I had another friend, real quick. He nearly died in detox. and had this overwhelming obsession. And it got to the point where he said one prayer: God, please take away the craving and obsession. And I'll go to these damn meetings every day. And he looked us dead in the eyes and he said, when I finally surrendered and I prayed, he said, prayer has been the cornerstone of his recovery. Your will, not mine, be done. He said, ever since that moment when he nearly died from this disease, his higher power had taken away that obsession. And he's been sober for 19 years since. Just beautiful stuff. But my friends, that's all we have time for today. I hope you all have a good one. Please know I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect or denomination. I am just a joyful drunk in this lifeboat of recovery. Honored to be here another day. And for giving another set of 24 hours, my friends, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.